Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video, and if you're new to this channel, I say a very big welcome to you. I am Vivian, and today I want to show you a different method of drafting corset pattern, and I'll be showing you the three types of cup that we have for corset. Okay, there are different methods of drafting corset. I have shown some method on this channel already, but I have questions from some of you, my subscribers, and this is one of the question, because in the previous method I taught we had to use the difference between the under bust, that is the difference between the bust and the under bust, to mark a circle. So the subscriber is asking, what happens whereby your under bust, that is the difference between the bust and the under bust, is wider than your bust span? Okay, that is because we had to mark circle and the circle will fall into your bust span. But now the issue there is, what if the difference between your bust and the under bust is longer than your bust span? What do you do? So today I'm here to answer that question, because what I actually do on this channel is to solve problem. So don't say I have given a particular tutorial several times. Sometimes I come back to answer questions that some of the subscribers ask. Okay, that is why I'm making another corset pattern. So I want to use a different method today that would help you draft a corset pattern if you have a situation like that. And this very one covers up for any issues you might have, any bust size and all that. So you can use this very method I'll be teaching you today. So please, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, do well, join this wonderful family, hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be among those that will be notified. Also join our Facebook group, Fashion and Styles with Vivi. Yes, that would help you get quick notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll be free to ask questions there. You'll be free to show your work, and you get corrections if need be. So just search for Fashion and Styles with Vivi on Facebook and join. Okay, also follow me on Instagram at macvivi127. Okay, so thank you for doing that. Now let's start. Okay, so I have just drafted the basic bodice, and I believe you should know this by now. So because if you want to draft the corset, if you have gotten to the level of you want to draft the corset, so I believe you should know how to draft the basic body. So if you don't know that, I will drop the link in the description box below. So let me not just talk too much, so this video will not be too long. So let's just go ahead. So what I have here is the basic body. So this point here is the shoulder. So from the shoulder I mark my bust points, then the under bust point and the waist, or your half length. So you can just mark wherever you want your corset top to get to. So here I'm using the waist. Okay, so by the time you have marked the bust point, under bust point and the waist, you draw your line. So I want to take it step by step. So by the time you have done this, remember, before you place your shoulder depth, you have to take your shoulder slant. Okay, to give you accurate shoulder depth, you have to take your shoulder slant. So I came down by 1 inch. That is for my shoulder slant, because the shoulder is not straight. So this is it. So from this shoulder slant, I place my armhole depth. Okay, so this is my armhole depth. Then I marked midpoint of it, and at this side I place my bust circumference divided by 4. Then I connected it to create my armhole. So the essence of doing all this thing is just to help you, because by the time you want to create your corset, you should have your basic bodies on ground. So, and the armhole is just a guide to help us where we would get the armhole of our corset and all that. Okay, so let's proceed. Now I have this diagram Okay, it has always been my custom to always make a diagram, even though it is not fine. It's just for tutorial purpose. Okay, so I have this diagram now. You want to make your corset, you consider where you want the top of a corset to be. So we'll call it neckline. Okay, so this is the neckline, where the top where you want it to be. You can decide if you want it to be well covered, cover your bust. If you want it to show your cleavage, whatever you want is your choice. Okay, so I'll be using this diagram to just show you what we have there, or what we'll be doing. So having placed all these other points, the next thing now is to place the neck line. So that's why I made this diagram, to show you. So where you want your corset to get to, from your shoulder to that point, you take it. Okay, so in this case, from the shoulder to the neckline, I want it to be 6 inches. Okay, so you can take whatever you want, however you want it. You can go higher, you can go lower. So I want it to be 6 inches, so I would mark it. Okay, so this is my neckline. So I'm just repeating the point so that I can draw a line there. So I will just draw a line. So this is my neckline. I will label it N. Okay, that's neckline. So I haven't done this now. The next thing is to place the bust span. Okay, so your bust span, that is nipple to nipple. Somebody was asking in the previous tutorial, what is nipple to nipple? That is your apex. Okay, from one apex to the other, or bust separation. Your bust is your bust span. So from one nipple to the other, you measure it and you divide by 2. So that is it. Okay, that is the bust span. So I'll be placing it here without adding any allowance. So you just mark your bust span from the neckline all the way to the length of your corset. Okay, so mine is 4 inches. That is 8 divided by 2 is 4 inches. Now I will connect the points. Just draw a straight line. We have it there. Okay, so having done this, the next thing is to place your darts. Okay, so you come to the under bust, you take 1 inch on this side, and you take 1 inch on this other side. So this is the first method I want to show you. That is, I mean, the first cup type. You know, in a corset we have different cup types, like you can see on the screen. You have this one, you have this other one, and you have the third one. So I want to show you how you can make the 3 of them. So now we're making the first one. Okay, so you place your dart on the at the under bust. You take 1 inch at this side and 1 inch at this other side. You come to the neckline, you do the same thing. 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this other side. Okay, so by the time you have done this, you then connect it to the bust point. So you connect to the bust point. So you can just use a curve to do that. You just connect it like so to the bust point. You also do same at this side. Okay. So just connect it well and you mark it. Okay, so you can see what we have here. You can see now the difference, like I will say, difference between this and the previous tutorial I've given. The previous tutorial, like I said, we took the difference between the bust the bust point and the under bust point, and we made a circle. You can see here we're not making a circle yet. Okay, we want to create the cup. So in this way you will not have any problem if your under, that is the difference here, is longer than your bust span. So by the time you have done this, you come to this point. Okay, now this is what I want to show you. This center front, that's what we want to create. Okay, so from one bust to the other, we usually have a little space there, so that space is up to 1 inch most times. Okay, so what you will do, from the bust, from this bust point, you will come up, It depends on what you want. If you want it lower, if you want it, higher, depend on what you want. So this is the bust point here at this on this picture. This is where we have the bust point. So from the bust point, you come up a little bit. Okay, so depend on what you want. For me, I usually use 2 inches from the bust point. I come up by 2 inches. So you can use 2 inches, you can use 1.5, depending on how you want it to be. Okay, depending on how you want it. If you want it lower, if you want it higher, you can do that. Whatever you want. If you don't want your cleavage to show, you can go up a little bit. So that is from the bust point. You can go up a little bit. You can take 2.5. You can take whatever you want. Okay, so let me see. 2.5 is okay for me. Let me use 2.5 so it won't be too deep. So let me use 2.5. Okay, so if you have it somehow like this, covered a little bit. So I use 2.5. So by the time you have marked it, see this space here, normally it should be like 1 inch, right? So we'll take half inch here. Okay, then when we are cutting on fabric, you add allowance for joining the center piece to the cup. You add allowance. Okay, so you can take either half inch or 0.75, but let me use half inch. So you just mark half inch inward like so, and you connect it like so. Okay, so by the time you connect it, just mark it down. Just mark it down to the bust point, to the under bust point. So just mark it like so. Okay, just mark it to the under bust point like so. So now you connect from this point to the neckline. You connect to the neckline. So you can use a cuff to do that. You can use your free hand to do that. So just connect like so. Okay, make sure it's touching here, please. So by the time you have done this one, we are settled here. Now you come to this lower part. You just step up by half inch. You mark it. You come here, you step up by half inch, you mark it. Okay, so we want to finish with this cup side before we go to this other side. Then you connect from this your bust point to that half inch. So you just connect. You can use the curve as well. So you want to make it a little bit curvy. So you just come out a little bit and you connect it to the bust point like so. Okay, so you can see we have created our cup for this side. Now to this other side, from this bust point, okay, let me show you what you do here. Whatever you have from your bust to your under bust, the difference, measure it here and add half inch. So the reason for this is this. By the time you look at your bust, you see that this side, that is the outer side, this armhole side, is fuller. This is where you have most of your bust falling to. Okay, so you need to create more space on this side to accommodate the bust. That is why you need to extend your cup a little bit. That you need to create more room. So to do that, what you will do is just measure the difference here. Okay, you can see now we are not touching this side. We have solved the problem on this side. So you just take the difference there, you mark it, then add half inch to it. So for me it will be 4.5. okay, you mark it here. So by the time you have done this now, you can now connect it to this under bust half inch step up. Okay, now the reason for stepping up by half inch is by the time you sew your corset, you won't have it coming sharp here like so. It will just go rounded. Okay, so that's why we're coming up by half inch. Now you connect this using your curve. So you just connect it from here to that side. Okay, you connect. So by the time you have connected this one, now the next thing is you just mark up to your armhole, then you connect this one. Okay, so just go up like so to meet the armhole. Then you also connect this one. Okay, making sure it cuts through, that it gets to the armhole like so. Okay, So you just blend it very well. Let it go this way like so. Okay, so you can always create your design. You have seen different cups when it comes to corset, different designs, so you can just be creative about that. But this is just the basic. So have you seen that we have gotten our cup without any issue, without any drawing of circles? Okay, so you just take it step by step the way I have shown you. So by the time we have done this, now we'll place our horizontal measurements. Okay, like I said earlier, I placed my bust circumference here to get my armhole. Okay, so that is it. That is 30 divided by 4, that is 9. So this has covered for the bust measurement. So you come to your under bust, you place your under bust circumference divided by 4. So here the under bust circumference divided by 4 is 8. You first of all mark it. Now please, before we continue, you have to extend this dart also to your waist. Okay, I was just in a hurry to create the cup. You have to extend the dart. Remember, I took one inch. That is 1 inch here and 1 inch here. So you have to do the same thing at the length of your, that's the full length of your corset, wherever your corset is getting to, be it half length or to your hip, wherever, you have to extend it. Okay, you place the dart, then you just draw your line. Okay, so by the time you have done this, you place your under bust circumference, which I have marked it. So now you take your dart, you have to replace this dart, because by the time you cut it out, you join, so you have to replace it. So you replace it 2 inches. Okay, you place it. You also place your waist circumference. The waist circumference divided by 4 here is 8.25. So this is 8.25. Then replace the 2 inches dart. Here it is. Okay, so having done this, now I would connect it. Okay, so you can connect at once, you can add your seam allowance. Okay, so like if you want to add your seam allowance, you can use 1 inch, you can use 2 inches, whatever you want. So let me use 1.5. So let me just mark 1.5 from here. So you connect it. Okay, so have it here. So whatever shape you have is because of that is the shape you have here, is because of the darts. Okay, by the time we sew the dart, everything would fall in place. So we have it here now. Okay, so this is time to cut it out. So for this top, by the time you cut it, you can blend it to whatever, to however you want the neckline to be. Okay, so you can just blend it at once like so, so that by the time you cut it out, you just have it like that. Okay, so you can just blend it like so. Okay, so we are taking off this part, we are taking off this part. Okay, then we are also taking off this part. Okay, that is it. So now let me go ahead and cut. Then if you want to like make a corset with yoke, this part of the corset will be your yoke. So when you're cutting, you cut it in such a way that you don't destroy this part. Okay, so you first of all remove the top. Remove the top and keep it as your yoke. Then you go ahead and cut out the pattern. So let me cut it out. So I decided to cut it this way to show you in case you're making a yoke. Okay, so you go like this. I'll make a different tutorial on that later. That is a detailed tutorial. So if you're making your yoke, at this point you place your neckline and you have your yoke. Okay, but we're not doing yoke today. I will do a separate video on that. So by the time you have removed the top, now this is how you cut this side. You cut it this way. Okay, so you have your center front there. So I can go ahead and just cut it out like so. So I folded the paper because I want to show you what it will look like. So you need to be careful. Let's fold this one down. So I have it here. So but before opening your cup, make sure you label it. Okay, this one is the center front. Okay, center front and 1. This one is 2 side. Okay, so you do same for the other part too. So I'll turn this one here also, and I'll write 1 center front because I don't have any line there. 2 and the side. Okay, so you have it like this. So now I just want to arrange it to show you what it should look like. These are center. Need to trim it straight. Okay, then this is our side, like so. You have it like so. Okay, you have it like so. And you see why you need to label this so that you don't get confused. This is the center front. It should go like this. This is number 2 side. Okay, now this one too is the center front. It should go like this. This is number 2 side. It should go like this. Okay, so let me just join it so that it will be clearer to you. Okay, so this is the first cup method. Then we'll move to the second cup method. So I've joined this one, and one other thing, always notch your that is the bust point. Okay, always notch it. Like in the case where the marks did not show, what will help you to align it is the bust point. By the time you place it that way, you'll be able to then stitch. Okay, so I have joined this one just using a pin, as you can see. So let me go ahead and do this so you can see what it looks like. So can you see this? Okay, so this is the first cup method. You can see how it looks. Okay, so just see it. Then the top, you can decide to shape it the way you want. You can just place the both of them together, side side. Okay, to do that you have to place both of them together like this and give it whatever shape you want at the top here. Okay, so you can just mark it. Just mark it and then give it whatever shape you want, however you want it to be. Okay, so let me just trim it a little bit. I have a pin there. Okay, so this is it. You can be creative about it. Okay, just whatever you want. If you have in mind to embellish the top, you can do whatever you want there, and you have it. Okay, this is it for the first cup method. So this is just paper, that's why it is looking like this. By the time you do this on your fabric, you see how beautiful it is. Okay, you can decide to trim the top, but remember what you have in mind. If you want it to go up to cover your cleavage, so you will not have to reduce it so much. Then let's move on to making the second cup type. Okay, so now let's draft the second cup type. Okay, so I have drawn out the basic bodice, and I know you already know how we got this: the neckline, the bust point, under bust, the waist, then the bust span line. Okay, then the armhole. So the next thing to do now is to create my curve. Okay, my tape is not in. Let me take another one. So the next thing now is to place my darts. Okay, so at the under bust, I'll mark 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this side. So in this method we are doing now, we will not mark any darts at the top. Okay, we will not have that at the top. So it's at this part now. So also mark it at this lower side, that is the top length. Then you connect like so, like so. Okay, so by the time you have done this, you now connect to the bust point. Okay, you connect it like so to the bust point, and you also connect this side. So you just take it step by step. Okay, so having done this, you now come to this part so I can get our center front. Okay, remember how we did in the first one? I came up by 2.5, and at this side I marked 1/2 inch, right? Then I'll just draw it like so. Okay, then I will connect it. Sorry, my marker is curved. So I'll connect it to the under bust. But remember, I'll step up by 1/2 inch here and step up by 1/2 inch here. Okay, so I can have it rounded and not pointing down at the under bust. So what I'll do now is just to connect it from this point to that point there. That is from here. Now I'll just connect it. Okay, creating enough room. Just place your curve in such a way that you create enough room. Okay, so from here, just connect it to this point. I'll have it here. Then you also connect to the neckline. So you can see this. Okay, we have created this curve. At this side too, remember what we did? You would take the difference between your bust point and the under bust. You add 1/2 inch to it. So mine is 4.5. I'll mark it. Okay, then I'll also connect it. So they are almost having the same step, but a little bit difference. Okay, we have the now you see the difference. So here you remember you have to step up to join the armhole. You just step up to meet the armhole line. Okay, and from there you connect to the top. So you just connect to the neckline. Like so. Okay, so this is it now. So now, having gotten to this stage, we want to create, we'll make a dart at this point. Okay, so what you will do at this center of the bust line, just step out by 1/2 inch, and at this part you mark 1/2 inch. Okay, so here you also mark 1/2 inch on this side, and you also mark half inch on this other side. Okay, half inch here, half inch here. You also come here, that is on the bust line. You mark your half inch here, and you also take half inch on this side. I hope this is clear. Now you connect it to this half inch we have created here. Okay, so the essence of doing this is I don't want it to be sharp, so you can just use your ruler to actually do this, then you blend it. So just connect it like so. You connect this one, then you connect this one, and you connect this one. Okay, so you have it there, so you can just blend it out here. So this is what we have. So you can see we have one panel. This is one, this is two, and this is three. We are cutting out these darts. We are cutting out all these darts. Okay, we are cutting out these darts. This is it. We are cutting out this dart. We are cutting out. We are cutting out. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, panels, and that is it. So now we'll place our horizontal measurement. I already have the bust circumference there. At this point, okay, at the under bust, you place your under bust circumference 8 inches. That's under bust circumference divided by 4. Then replace my dart. There it is. Here it's 8.25. Replace my 2 inches dart, and I have it there. Okay, so I'll add allowance. Like in the other one I used 1.5, right? So I add 1.5 seam allowance. That's 1.5 inches for my seam allowance, and there it is. Then I'll connect. You can see they are almost similar. The difference is the dart we created here, and we did not create that at this top. Okay, so let me just cut it out now, and you see what we have there. Remember, if you want to make yoke, this top part is your yoke. All you need to do is to create your neckline. Then we cut it out gently. So this is it. Okay, I'll have it like so. So this is the second cup method. Can you see what we have here? So for it to, let me transfer it in ordinary paper. Let me transfer it in ordinary paper so that I'll be able to join it, and you see what we have. Okay, so let me just transfer it on the paper. So I would like to place the paper on full so you can see the 2 cups. So I have transferred them into another paper, and always mark your pattern, okay, to be able to know the side. Like this, the side is the center front. Okay, center front. So you need to always mark so you know. And like now that I've transferred it here, I need to also mark the midpoint. I should have done that before removing it. So you need to mark the midpoint, okay? Because when joining it, that will be a guide for you. All right, let me join it so that you see what we have there. Now this is the top one, like this. This is how it is. Hope you can see this. This is how it is. 1, 2, 3, right? So you take 1, you take 2, then you take 3, like so. Okay, so you first of all join the 2 lower ones. You first of all join them. By the time you join them, then you attach to the upper one. So let me do that. Okay, let me show you how I'm doing it. Okay, I've joined this one. So like I said, you join 2 and 3, then you also join it to the top one like this. So I'm using pin to hold it. So I'm just saying this is just the pattern. Okay, in the sewing aspect you have to add allowance all round. You have to add allowance all around this pattern. So I've already made a tutorial on how to sew the corset. Okay, I have one already on the channel. So you have to add allowance all around, half inch all around the pattern. So this is just the pattern drafting. So I might be making more tutorials on the sewing aspect. Okay, so just subscribe if you're yet to do so, and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out any video that will be coming up. So I'm just joining it. So by the time you're done joining, any excess you have on any side, you can trim it up. But that is when you have transferred on your fabric and added all your allowance all round. So you just join it, trying to match everything up. Okay, but that will be on your fabric, and then you have to add allowance all round. So by the time you add your allowance, everything will just be okay. So this is it. So remember that this is just paper. And by the time you do this on your fabric, it will last well. So this is the center front, and this is it. This is how it will be. Okay, so you can see the cup. So you trim out any excess you have. That is when you have transferred on your fabric and added allowance all around. So after joining, you just blend it up. So let me just place it on this other bodice so that we can see how it is. Though each cup has its own pattern. Okay, you know the way you cut it out, wherever you cut it out from, that is where it would fit in. By the time you have added your allowance, let me show you. You match up the bust points like so. Okay, then remember, it's allowance that you add that will make up this area. Half inch on this side, half inch on this side. That's when you're cutting on your fabric. So the half inch will make it up for joining. So that is it. Okay, so you can see how it is here. But let me just arrange the 2 cups on this other bodice so that let's see. So you need to see the reason why you need to mark it, so you know the side that will be by the center front, because if you place it the other way around, it will not be nice at all. So it has to match up. So you can see how it will look. Okay, so by the time you have added your allowance and you join it, your cup will be well formed, and you have it there. This is just paper. So you can see it. Okay, so this is the second cup method, where you have the 1 panel, second and third panel like so. This is it. You can see, even though this is not the main bodice for it, but it still fits in. So you can see the difference between this one and the first cup we made. Okay, so you can see the difference. This one has 2 panels, while this one has 3, 1, 2, 3 panels, like you can see on the screen. Okay, so now let's make the third cup tie. All right, so the third cup method. So I have drafted it up to this level. This you already know. Okay, just like this is just what I did in the first one, the first cup. So the next thing now, for us to make the third type of cup, we will have to create darts at these sides, here and here. So here you can see we have that here, we have that here, unlike the second cup that will only have that at the lower part. So now I'll mark half inch here. So I don't want the video to be too long, so that's why I just decided to do it like so. So you take half inch on this side, half inch on this side. Then you also come here. Remember, this is the bust line. You also mark 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this other side. Then at this midpoint, just come out by 1/2 inch. So the reason for this 1/2 inch you are coming out is so that it will not be sort of pointy at the midpoint there. So now you just connect. So you connect this to this point, you connect this to this point. So I hope this is clear. You just take it gradually, okay? So they are all similar, it's just that they are just different cup type, and people have different taste. You might just learn how to make one, and a client to come and decide that she wants the other type. So you need to know how to create the different cup types, okay? So having done this, now we are cutting out the darts. So this part is going out, okay? This part is going out, this part is going out, like so, okay? And you label it 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I'll go ahead and cut it out now. Okay, one more thing, you need to place your round measurement, that is your circumference, okay? So at the under bust, the under bust measurement divided by 4 plus the 2 inches dart. Same thing here, waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches dart. Then my 1.5 inch seam allowance, you add your seam allowance at this point also, then connect. So don't mind the shape you're having here because of the darts. By the time you take your dart, everything would relax. So you just cut it out. So by the time we're done with this third cup method, I'll show you how to draft the back in case you haven't watched my previous video, okay, on how to draft corset. So the back is just the same. So you see why you need to label. By the time you label it, it will give you a guide on how to arrange it. Okay, so this is it. Now we are not going to use this the way it is. You're going to transfer it to another pattern or to another paper as just 2 panels. So this one will be joined together as 1 panel, and the lower one will be joined together as 1 panel. So you have 2 panels, okay? So let me transfer it. So you just place it like so, okay? You place it like so and you trace it out. So this is how you trace it. I place my paper on fold so that I can have the 2 cups. Then you just trace out like so. So by the time you come here, you just go this way, okay? Then make sure you mark the midpoint. So this is the midpoint. You mark it so you'll be able to use it to join to the lower part. So you name this 1. This is 1, and this side is the center front, while this side is the side. So you need to label it at once, and this place is the midpoint. So I'll go ahead and cut this one. Then I'll also place this one on another paper like so and trace it out, okay? You place it like this. So it's the edges you allow to meet, that is the top of it. So it's like this. You trace this one like this. You just trace it. So this is still the paper transfer, that is, this is still on paper, okay? You are not transferring on fabric yet, and you mark the midpoint. So this is still on paper. By the time you have done this, you name this 2, and this is the center front, and this is the side. By the time you have done this, you've gotten the pattern. That is the pattern on paper. Then you still have to transfer on your fabric, and on the fabric you would add your seam, that you would add allowance all round. Okay, let me just cut it out. I'm repeating this one because I didn't fold the other paper very well. So just I have it like so. Okay, so this is it. Also make sure you label the other side. This is 2, and here is the center front, here is the side. This is 1, here is the side, here is the center front. Okay, so now I will join. So by the time you have transferred it, that is now. So also make sure your mark extends to the back. That is the midpoint. Okay, so we have it now. So you can see the second cup method. It has 2 panels. This is how it should be. Okay, so I will just join it now so that you see what we have there. So let me use my pin to hold it. So this is why you need to mark the midpoint, or you notch it. It will help you to be able to join it. So now you can see I've joined the cups, and you can see the 3rd cup side. Okay, you have 1 panel on the second, that is, you have 2 panels, one at the top and then like so. You can see this is how this one is. So you can, I actually love this very cup. They are all, the 3 of them are okay. They are all beautiful. So it depends on what you like and what your client likes. Okay, so using this same bodice, let me place them, though they are not meant for this. This is the bodice here. Okay, so by the time you join this, you will place it, and remember, you add your allowance all round. Make sure the bust points are matching like so. Then your allowance you add is what will make up for this side for joining it. So but let me just place it on this bodice we have here to see what it looks like. Okay, and make sure you mark, like I said, the center front must be at the center front. You don't turn it this other way, you end up messing it up. So you should go this way, and you have it. So you can see what we have here. Okay, so this is the 3rd cup method. 3rd cup method. And then if you're doing it on your fabric, you need to align it well. Okay, everything will align well. So this is just paper, that's why it is like this, but on your fabric it will appear so lovely. So we have the 3 cups here. So you do whichever one you like. It's a matter of preference, a matter of choice. Okay, so these are the 3 cups type. Now let's draft the back. Whichever cup type you're using, the back remains the same. That is, the way you draft the back is simply the same. Okay, so now let's draft the back. Okay, so I placed my fabric on my paper on fold just to show you how it will look at the end. So I've taken 1-inch zipper allowance. So you might want to know the length of fabric to fold is your biggest measurement. So here the bust is the biggest measurement, plus the allowance for that, okay, and the seam allowance. So now the length of the back panel will be from the armhole, where you have the armhole of the front, okay, to the full length of the corset. So this is it here. So this is it, okay. So this is the waist, this is the under bust, and this is the bust, okay. So even though we don't need the under bust, I just marked it. So I would draw my line. I just want to repeat the points. So this is the under bust. This is the bust, and this is the waist, okay. So let me label it. This is the bust, under bust, and the waist, okay. So this is the back. The armhole part and other parts are not included, okay. So it's just like a tube corset. Then after making your tube corset, if you want to add sleeve to it, I have a video on how you can add sleeve to your corset, okay. So having done this, now the next thing is to take our dart. So to place your dart, just mark your bust span. So mark your bust span from the bust point all the way down. So this is it. So this is the back. We don't have cup at the back. We are not creating any bust cup. So you just take the waist dart. So to do that, you mark ½ inch on this side and ½ inch on this other side. Then what you do is just connect it to the bust point, okay. So just connect this way to the bust point. So this is waist dart, okay. So this is it, okay. I didn't draw the line for the bust span. It doesn't matter, but just to make it clear. So that is the bust span line. Then you mark ½ inch on this side, ½ inch on this side, and you connect it to the bust point, okay. So this is it. So having done this, now what you will do is to create your neck line, okay. So how deep you want it to be or whatever. So you know that, okay, first of all, before you create your neckline, you place your round measurement. So at this point, you place your bust measurement. Remember that everything you're doing is after the zipper allowance. So this is the bust measurement here. Then at the under bust, you have the under bust divided by 4. You mark it, then you have to replace this dart. So measure the dart you have there and you replace it, okay. Then at the waist, you place the waist measurement. Then you replace your dart to have 1 inch dart there. You replace it. Then you also add your allowance, seam allowance. So I'm using 1.5 like I used in the front, okay. So I'm using 1.5 for my seam allowance. Then I would connect. So this is it, okay. So I have it there. So having done this, now the next thing is to create the neckline. Depending on what you want, you can decide to leave it straight, you can decide to curve it, okay. So if you want it a bit curvy, what you will do from here, you just come down a little bit. You can come down by 1 inch, you can come down by 1.5, okay. Then you connect from this point. You connect like so from this point. You can make it curvy, you can make it straight. So you just go this way, okay. So if you want it curvy, you just curve down a little bit. If you want it V, complete V neck, you can step down a little bit and connect it. So having done this, now I would cut it out, okay. And I'm not cutting out the dart, so it will be sewn in like that, just the waist dart. So you can see to cut the back is very, very simple. One of the easiest things to do. So this is the back. Now I will open it at the zipper area. I have it like so. So now let's place it with the front and see what we have there. Okay, so remember that this is the center back where we have the zipper. So this is the side. Okay, so it's going this way like this and like this. So it's going like this, you can see. Okay, so you can see the way. If you want it to go lower, you can go lower. So but I just like it this way. So you can see this side. Okay, so you can see by the time you join it, this is what you have. Okay, so this is it, and our corset is complete. Our corset top is complete. You can see it. Very simple to make. So I hope you love this tutorial. Please give it a like. Okay, give it a like, and don't forget, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel for more videos. To subscribe is free, and also share it with your friends who might want to learn. Okay, just share it, and thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Remain blessed.